How on earth do you find the best business coach? Well, welcome to this episode of #Winning. My name is Uriel Kame, CEO and founder of Healthpreneur, and that's what I'm going to answer for you in today's video. Just in case you're new to the channel, just in case you're new here, you're likely a health professional or coach. You're looking to get some type of guidance to grow your business. And first and foremost, my hat off to you, because the sooner you realize you need help, the sooner your business will grow. Really quickly, when I started my first online business in 2005, I didn't think I needed help. So I decided to grow my business somehow on my own. And I made a whopping $6,000 in my first year. And then I spent the next 3 years living under poverty line income because I was too naive and stubborn to reach out for help. In 2010, I hired my first coach who was more money than I made my previous year. But it was the most important thing I did in my journey up until this point because it was the inflection point from which everything took off. Since that time, so from that investment in 2010, which I had to put on 2 credit cards, I've invested more than $1.3 million in my own coaching and development. So why am I sharing that with you? I share that with you because what I'm about to share with you in this video comes from actual experience. I'm not one of those gurus out there who preaches advice and who doesn't actually walk the talk. If you know who I am, if you've been following my stuff, you know I don't fuck around, I don't lie, no BS. And you guys appreciate that. And I'm gonna keep on that vein. I'm gonna just give it to you like it is. I have no vested interest in trying to deceive people, unlike a lot of people out there. The problem is that we live in a modern, we live in a time where because the barrier to entry is so low, anyone can become a coach. Anyone can become a business coach. So how on earth do you find the right one? How do you trust what one person is saying is valid and true compared to someone else? And if everyone's saying the same thing, who on earth do you listen to? And that's what I want to break down for you in this video and just kind of walk you through what has helped me over the years. And hopefully this can help you too. So here's the reality, is that no one great, no one who achieves anything great in life does so by themselves. I don't know of a single athlete, I don't know of a single entrepreneur who's gotten to the top of the game single-handedly by themselves. Now obviously you have teams of people as you grow your business, etc. But most people have a coach. When I played soccer in my previous life, that's what I did for the first almost 20 years of my life. I was a goalie and I wanted to play pro. And so what did I do? Well, I trained a lot, but I also hired specific goalkeeper coaches. Because as a goalkeeper, at least when I was growing up, there was no special training, at least not within a team setting. So I had to go out and actively find goalkeeper coaches who could help me improve my craft as being a goalkeeper. And it's one of the single most important reasons that I believe I was the best goalkeeper in the country. And it allowed me to play pro for a number of years there afterwards. And it's the same thing in business. If you want to grow your business, you have to find an expert who's actually been there and done that. And unfortunately, as I said before, this whole friggin' online space has been polluted. I think polluted is the right word, with fly-by-night, overnight gurus, people who don't know what they're talking about. And I'll just give you an example. I haven't even looked at my phone, and I'm just gonna open up Instagram as an example, and I'm gonna just read some of the message requests that I get, and maybe you can relate to some of this stuff. So, hey, Yuri, my name is Johnny, and I run a marketing agency for online coaches like yourself. I love what you have going on. I wanted to share some ideas with you. Let's connect. How about no Gianni? And look at Gianni. He's a fucking kid. Are you kidding me? Listen, if you're Doogie Howser and you figured some stuff out at the age of 18 or 19, by all means, amazing. All right, so let's look at Miguel Romero. Hey man, you're an absolute savage. I would love to represent you in your brand. Got any room on your sales team? And let's check this guy out. He's got 2 posts and he looks like friggin' Justin Bieber. Hoodie on, the whole bit. This is the problem, is we are being bombarded by bro marketing and bullshit like this. And what that's done is it's lowered the standard. It's lowered the quality, if you will, of business coaching in general, because anyone can watch a couple YouTube videos or make a couple sales and then call themselves a business coach. I get guys messaging me who are 18 years old and like, hey man, I love your stuff on YouTube. And I really wanted a bit more clarity around this one video because I help, fitness professionals build their business online. And I'm like, sorry, what? Sorry, you're 18 years old and you help fitness professionals build their businesses online? I'm like, cool. Like, tell me more about the business that you built for yourself as a fitness professional. Oh, like I haven't actually I've trained a couple clients, but that's about it. Like, then fuck off, right? This is the problem. If you are not an expert at what you do, if you have not done what you want to do already, you have no right to teach others how to do this. To be honest, maybe you should be sent to jail. Can you imagine this? Like, can you imagine a neurosurgeon? Like, you don't hear people talking about, man, I got scammed by that last neurosurgeon. You don't hear that happen. And the reason for that is because neurosurgeons have an extremely high barrier to entry. You don't just call yourself a neurosurgeon and start DMing people about like, hey man, I really think I could fix your brain. You're like, how do you even know I've got a brain issue? Like, just shut up, right? Yet this is the problem with coaching. And because of all this, it's only exacerbated the tremendous amount of skepticism we have now in the marketplace. And why that's a problem and an opportunity is that for people like myself who've actually been in business for 20 years, who've built and sold several companies, right? Or at least in my case, my previous health and fitness company for multiple 7 figures, and who now runs an 8-figure legitimate company, 2 things happen. Number one is it puts me and my company in the same company as all these other Fruit Loops, but that's not the greatest thing. But the good news is that it is so easy to differentiate from all those players, because there's one thing that a great business coach should have, the one differentiator more than anything else, and it's expertise. Expertise, the ability to actually know what the hell they're doing, because not that they read it in a book, but because they've actually done it. They've been in the trenches. So when I'm looking at a business coach, when I'm looking at any coach, I would never, ever dream of looking for the cheapest solution. Why on earth? Because if you think about this is what happens. You want help with your business, you look at the different options, and I don't think you actively look for the cheapest solution, but a lot of times people choose the cheapest solution because they think they can't afford to hire someone who's actually good at what they do and charges more. The problem with that is that the cheapest solution is always the most expensive one, because the cheapest solution is shit. And the cheapest solution is the cheapest solution because that person knows they are not good enough to charge premium prices. So yeah, working with me as an example cost $120,000 for 6 months. You get 1 call with me a month, and you're gonna wire me the money before we start. If you want my one-on-one coaching, and you have to be doing more than 7 figures to even enter that conversation. So why on earth would I pay you that kind of money, Yuri? Well, that's a great question. What do I get for that? You get my 20 years of experience. You get access to the knowledge I now have because of everything I've done in 20 years and the more than $1.3 million I've invested in my own coaching and development. So sure, you can take the next 20 years and invest all that money to somehow figure it out by yourself, or you could invest a fraction of that if you want to work with me personally to have that conversation. Now, I'll be honest, the vast majority of people that I coach are not at that level, nor do we work in that capacity together. So we have 2 other coaching programs where most people start. But I share that with you because if you are looking for the cheapest option, there are a million options out there. And I'm going to give you some really simple ways of deciphering who's good and who's not. But before I do that, let me just come back to expertise. Expertise in my mind is experience times learning. If you have no experience, you haven't learned a lot, and therefore don't call yourself an expert. If you've been in business for a year, you have maybe a bit of expertise, but you don't have the same expertise as someone who's been in business for 5 years or 10 years or 20, right? And the other thing too is if you've been in business or someone's been in business for 20 years, just like I have, does that mean they're the same level of expertise or they have the same level of expertise I do or that I do of them? No, because our path is different and what we have learned and assimilated and executed on is also different. So number one, when you're choosing a business coach, you have to find someone who's been where you want to be. It's really simple. That's the acid test. Do you, business coach, have you done what I want to do? That's thing number one. If it's a no, done. We're moving on. Number two, have you helped other people similar to me achieve results as well? And the answer should be yes. And here's the thing, and I get this all the time. Hey, Yuri, I need to see the assets and all the stuff from 3 of your top clients. And I'm like, that's never going to happen. Do you want me to give all of your assets, your intellectual property, to random strangers on the internet so they can evaluate whether working with me makes sense? When someone bothers coming to me with that type of request, I'm like, ciao, buddy. See you later. You working with me makes no difference in my life. No difference. You see this bowl of nuts? you choosing to work with me or me taking you on as a client has the effect on my life and my revenue, like a grain of salt in this bowl. Now, I'm not saying that to be arrogant. It's just the reality based on our revenue. But you working with me changes everything for your life. So I'm not going to play by your rules of like, I need to speak on the phone and see all the intellectual property of 3 of the people. I'm like, you can look at the thousands of testimonials we have. And if you're still not convinced at that point, that says more about your own lack of belief in yourself than your lack of trust in me. So do you, business coach, have you done what I want to do? Number 2, have you helped other people similar to me achieve similar results? You should probably have some case studies, some videos, whatever that displays that. But listen, I mean, like, you don't need to chase people around the internet to be like, hey, what's it like working with Yuri? I'll tell you exactly what it's like in a second. So stick around. 3rd, do I resonate with this person's values? So when I get a message from someone on Instagram who's like, hey man, I can really like improve your conversions. I'm like, oh, cool. Awesome. Do you know what my conversions currently are? No, then shut the front door. And I actually had this happen recently. I'm like, some guy reached out to me like, hey man, I can really improve your landing page conversion rate. And I was in a little bit of a pickly mood that day. And I said, hey man, next time you reach out and make assumptions, you should probably back up your statements with proof. If you had said, hey, I noticed your landing page is converting at 21%, and here's the proof, I have an idea about how we might be able to improve it. Cool. Maybe start that way the next time. Instead of assuming you know what's happening because you don't. So then don't make assumptions because you look like a fool for doing so. So I share that because when I get approached by someone, again, a lot of these bros on Instagram, first thing I look at is their feed. Oh yeah, cool. Let's go to the casino and hang out. Yeah, let's smoke, let's vape it up on the yacht. Dude, in no universe am I part of that world. So number 1, just based on our values, it's never going to happen. I've been part of a coaching program now for the past 6 years. And people ask me like, why have you been part of that for 6 years? And I said, because I jive with the values of the coach who I've known personally for more than 10 years. And the people in that group are my people, right? I don't need to join other, whatever thing. But like I've been part of other coaching programs in that same time as well. So yeah, you can technically have 2 coaches at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that because they might specialize in different areas. But in those other programs that I've been a part of, I've left very quickly after the agreement was over because I'm like, I don't resonate with the bros in this group. I'm not here to extract cash from my email list. It's not the values I jive with. So when you're looking at a business coach, do they have the results? Have they been there, done that? Have they helped others do it? Do you resonate with their values and philosophy? So for me, I'm very family oriented. I've got 4 boys, spend most of my time at home. I love to travel and I value integrity. I value doing good work. I value not scamming people because apparently there's a lot of people out there who are okay with that. And so when people see my stuff, and this is why I'm very, very unapologetically myself in all of these videos, I swear sometimes, if you don't like that, sorry, I'm not going to change. It is what it is. I don't think it's okay to swear all the time. It's a little bit abrasive, but sometimes for impact, for me, it helps get the point across. A lot of people that come into my world love the fact that I'm a no BS straight shooter and I call it like it is. And then what's interesting is they have a tough time handling the truth when I give it to them, which is hilarious. There's this one guy in the DMs like, hey man, I love everything you do. I love your no bullshit approach. Really want to work with you. I'm the best at what I do. I've been doing this for 9 years and I'm still stuck. I'm like, you've been doing this for 9 years and you're still stuck? I'm like, how many more years do you want to keep waiting to make this happen? Anyways, we get to the end of the conversation. This is all happening in the DMs. And he's like, from the UK and I can tell when I'm being pressured and that's the fastest way to lose the sale. I'm like, buddy, I'm not here to pressure you. I'm here to challenge you. And I, asked him a couple questions and it was so funny how he said like, I love your no BS approach. And then when I actually gave him some of that, he was like, no, I don't like being pressured into a sale. I'm like, I'm not pressuring you to anything. Trust me, you doing business with me doesn't affect my life in the slightest. Okay. So I'm like, anyways, I understand that you might be watching this and you're like, man, like you're a bit of a, I don't know what the word is, right? It comes across as, some people have called me arrogant. Some people have called me cocky. That's fine. I prefer to use confidence. And I understand that, I can push the boundaries sometimes and people get a little bit, taken aback by that. And that's fine, but that's just who I am, right? And I'm not going to change who I am to please people. Okay. This is the biggest problem in our world is everyone's trying to please other people and they're toning down who they are to be politically correct and not step on toes. I'm like, fucking like jump on toes. Not like purpose and try to piss people off, but be yourself. So when you're choosing a business coach, you have to find someone who you relate to from a value perspective, where you share their philosophy. And, these videos have been, instrumental in us bringing on, many more clients than I actually thought was going to happen from YouTube, at least in this short amount of time, because of the fact that people were like, hey man, like that hashtag winning video just really put me over the edge. It helped me realize that I was playing small or whatever it was. And, that was the thing that I realized that I needed to work with you, where I've watched all of your videos and I completely relate to everything you say. And that's why content is very powerful, right? Obviously, it takes a long time, as we talked about before, but it is the single most important thing you can do to build your brand. It just takes forever, right? So if you're looking for cash quickly, you're not going to get there by content. But if you want to build a brand that lasts a very, very long time, content is important. So expertise is number one, right? Have you been there and done that? Have you helped others do that? And do we share the same value system? Are we aligned here, right? Whether you're faith-based or not, maybe you drive or resonate with someone who's faith-based. That's cool, right? If you're a single guy and you want to hang out in Vegas, well, that's cool. I'm sure there's guys out there who you'll relate with. So you got to find your person. You got to find your tribe, because we're always looking for, the people or the person who gets us, right? Who at some level is going through what we've gone through or has gone through or they're going through, and they understand what it's like, and they represent the type of person we want to become. And they live those values, they live that life, and we espouse to have those similar character traits for those values. So when it comes to choosing a business coach, like those are kind of my three big pillars that I look at. But the final thing I'll mention about this is I think most people understand when people are full of shit. Like you can just look at someone's stuff or hear them speak and you understand right away, like they have no clue what they're talking about, or they're very good. I think we intuitively know that. So once you've found someone who's like, this person knows their stuff, you have to have faith in their process. You can't question every single thing. Like, I need to see like 100 more people like me because you only gave me 75. You have to have faith in their process, because otherwise they wouldn't be an expert you're listening to in the first place. And second is you have to have faith in yourself. If you're interested in working with me, the only thing I care about is that you're an expert and that you're coachable. That's it. If you're not an expert as a health professional who can help others overcome a problem, nothing I can do to help you. I mean, I can, but we're only going to amplify how bad or unexpert like you are. So the only thing that, is required coming into my world or our world with Healthpreneur is you have to be an expert, which means you've worked with paying clients, you know how to solve an issue. And secondly, you have to be coachable, because as I often share with my clients, I'm like, if you want the chocolate cake, you follow our recipe. If you start tinkering with the recipe, you end up with chocolate shit. And that's on you, not on me. Okay? So just follow the recipe. But Yuri, I've got this for my webinar, I reshot it. I made it more professional. So I put my face on this. I'm like, why? Is that in our framework? No. Yuri, I'm speaking at a conference and I was thinking of turning the live talk into a live talk that I can use as my webinar. I'm like, please don't do that. Follow our recipe. It's been proven thousands of times. Don't reinvent the wheel before you master the fundamentals, right? And then this client goes to do her talk and then uses that as part of, her thing. She's like, man, it completely bombed. And I'm like, listen, words can only warn, but life experience teaches. And sometimes you have to hit your head against the wall a few more times before you're more receptive to guidance, okay? So if you're going to be a student, a client of anyone, follow their friggin' recipe, okay? The only thing, and I'll just share from my perspective, the only thing most mentors want is that you follow their advice, right? You follow their advice. And it's not that you can't question, why are we doing this? Because they should be able to articulate why this works the way it does. So it's you have to be sold on that. They have to do a good job communicating that for sure. But once you cool, that makes sense, follow their advice to the letter. So the final thing I'll mention here is around, requiring just an enormous amount of social proof before you're willing to move forward. And if you do that, you live in Loserville. Okay. That's where people who don't succeed in life live. You have to believe in the coach. You have to believe in yourself. What anyone else does is irrelevant. We get people all the time, do you work with nurse practitioners? I'm like, yeah. Do you work with dietitians? Yeah. I'm like, what does that have to do with you? Well, the fact that you're asking me this question, I am concerned. I am concerned because now I don't know if I want to take you on as a client, because it shouldn't even matter who else I've worked with. Because you believe so much in yourself that with the right system and the right framework and the right coaching, you will crush no matter what. The most successful clients I've worked with, very, very rarely do they ask me questions like, have you worked with other people just like me? I'm like, yeah. They don't ask me that question because it doesn't matter. And it's those who struggle big time who are like, but I need to know that you've worked with a nutritionist who has long brown hair and has 2 kids and has 1 dog and 1 cat, because I need to know that this can work for someone specifically like me. I'm like, please stay away from me. Please do not come close to me. Another warning sign, and I just want you to internalize this for a second because this is real, okay? Yuri, I don't know if I can trust you because I've been scammed before. I've invested money in other programs that didn't work. I'm like, okay, I get it. I hear a lot of that all the time, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of shitty people out there as well. But there's also a lot of good programs out there. And my philosophy is even from the worst coaching program, you can still get value. So when someone comes to me and says, well, like, I lost my money, you lost your wallet, like you misplaced it. No, they charged me $8,000 or $10,000 and they didn't do anything for me. I'm like, sorry, they didn't do anything for you? Welcome to the real world. If you own your business, you do what you need to do for your business. Now, unless you're hiring an agency, that's a different story, but still. So someone comes in and like, man, like, I got scammed, I lost all my money. I'm like, please stay away from me. Please stay away from me, because I know that most likely you're not the type of person, that's the key word, type of person, self-identity, who is going to find a way to win no matter what. You're going to find excuses. And this video, this episode, this series is called #winning, not #whining, which is what a lot of people do. And this is part of how I coach, and I call it as it is. If you are expecting a knight in shining armor to come and save your business, you will never find it, because you are putting your focus on the wrong thing. You are giving away your power to someone else who supposedly has ownership over your results and future. And that's called delusion. And every single time you do that, where you invest in a program and you sit back and cross your arms and say, well, this better be the one, you fucking have lost and you have not learned the lesson. Because the reality is, even the worst coaching programs, value is an extraction game. I just did a call yesterday with our clients around sales objections. And I said, I'm like, this call in and of itself was worth the entire investments in this program. Do you guys agree? And they're like, yeah, man, this is unbelievable. Value is an extraction game. I mean, I coach our clients 3 days a week, and we have a whole team of coaches. We have 5 coaching calls a day. For someone to go through our program and not get value, they got to be sick in the head. There's got to be something missing. No one is saving you. You save you. You show up, you do the work, you extract the learning, and you get it done. When I was in a speaking mastermind about 7 years ago, it was $60,000, and it was not a good experience. And I was pissed off for a day. And then I said, Yuri, shut the fuck up and find a way to make this make sense. And that's what I did. I said, okay, cool. Well, maybe this isn't the best experience. I'm not going to ask for a refund because that's not the type of person I am. When I commit to something, I commit. There's no backing, there's no reverse. It's forward. I will find value out of this experience. And that's exactly what I did. Yes, it wasn't the best experience, but because of that, I got one speaking engagement apart from a few others, but this one specific one unlocked a huge cascade of events for our business. But that wouldn't have happened if I was complaining and like, this sucks and I'm asking for a refund and I'm going to report you guys. No, you put on your big boy pants. And yes, you can certainly voice your concerns with, the company, whatever, but it doesn't serve you not to dig in and find the value. Another program we invested in, about a year and a half ago, was $20,000. And within the first couple of days, I realized that the strategy that they were suggesting that I had to make some pivots to our messaging. I'm like, I'm not going to a biz op type of message just to appease this type of strategy. So right away, the very strategy that I thought that I was going to get out of this program, within the first 7 days, I realized I could no longer run the strategy. Now, what a lot of people do is they say, I want my money back. This isn't for me. And I said, Yuri, where's the learning here? All right, so strategy aside, they obviously know some stuff. What don't I know that they do? And how can I learn a few things here to make the most of my investment? And that's exactly what I did. I found a couple of nuances that unlocked a few things, and that made all the difference. So what successful people understand is they don't need everything. They just need the one idea, the one nuance, the one perspective shift. And that's why, unfortunately, a lot of people who struggle in business continue to struggle in business because they haven't developed the mindset of looking for the one thing. They're looking for everything. And if they don't get everything, it was a scam. It's not a scam, guys. Yeah, like there's some unfortunately bad people out there doing some stupid stuff and they shouldn't be coaching. But there's a lot of good coaches as well. There's a lot of good companies that are doing good stuff. And are they all perfect? No. Are we perfect? No. But if you do your due diligence, and when I say due diligence, hear me very clearly. Does this person have a track record? Do they have expertise? Have they done what I want to do? Have they helped others do that? And do I jive with their values? That's it. If they do, just do it. Do it. Follow the recipe and figure it out. It'll be a good return on your time and energy. But if you don't and you sit back and you're like, well, another scam, you'll never win. You'll never get ahead in life and you will always struggle. And that's unfortunate because you'll continue to add more and more baggage to your journey and it's going to jade your view of the world and it's not going to empower you. It's not going to help you. So that's how I go about choosing a business coach. Now, again, whether you want to work with myself or anyone else is irrelevant to me. I just wanted to share my perspective in this video. If it's been useful for you, I'd love to know in the comments what from what I've shared with you has landed the most. What's the one thing you needed to hear? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so by clicking the button somewhere on this video so you don't miss a single video. We have hundreds of videos right here on the Healthpreneur channel to help you build a scalable coaching business that transforms more lives. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out. And before you go, check out this video next. I think you'll really like it. So why on earth would I sit in 4 degrees Celsius water? Because I can. Because it's hard. And because it's hard, it's also easier not to do it. But that's not the kind of life I want to live.